Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, May 16th, and we're really happy that you're here to join us this evening for our regularly scheduled city council meeting. I would like to hereby call this meeting to order. We are going to begin by standing for our Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to remain standing as we have words of inspiration by our pastor, Stephen Traxel from Grace Apostolic Church. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'd bow your heads and pray with me. Lord, we're so thankful today for this day that you've given to us. We celebrate you in all that we do. This is a beautiful occasion that we're here to celebrate. Lord, we're so thankful for the city that you've given to us. And for all those that live in this city, I pray a blessing upon each of them, their families. I pray that you'd bless our council members today, our mayor, and those that make decisions for our city. I pray that you would guide them and give them wisdom every day as they direct the steps of those that live in this great city with a big heart. We're asking, Lord, that you would touch us and give us direction today, that our plans would be what you'd want us to have. Lord, as we celebrate our National Police Week, I'm asking, Lord, that you'd bless all the men and women in blue that have chosen a path and a career that places others' lives before their own, and I pray a blessing upon them. I pray that your angels would gather around them and protect them and keep them safe every day. I pray you bless their families as they go out and work every day and do a job that most people don't want to do, but they do it with diligence. I pray for the officers of Clawson, especially this hometown. I pray that you bless them and keep them. I pray for our chief. I pray that you'd guide us and lead us and help us to be the best city we can be for you, that other cities can look at Clawson and use us as an example of how they want to conduct their own business. We give you the praise and glory for all things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much. Roll call, please.
Mayor Milan.
I am here.
Mayor Pro Tem Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Sampson.
Here.
Councilmember Tinlin.
Here.
Councilmember Shepard is joining us from a very sterile hotel room, and he'll be here for speaking. He can't vote, though.
Bardstown, Kentucky. I don't know the county.
Okay, thank you. Would someone like to make a motion to approve our agenda?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion. I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Whoa.
Agenda.
The agenda. You're jumping ahead.
Agenda, sorry.
We'll get there.
Support.
Any comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Mayor Milan.
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have approved our agenda. We'll move on to the next item, which would be public comments for items on the agenda. If you're here with us this evening and you'd like to speak to anything that is on our agenda this evening, you may make your way to the podium. We'll allow you 3 minutes. We just ask that you state your name and your address. And I see a lot of fans for people who are getting awards today. This would be your perfect opportunity to say something and really embarrass them to a really great place. Just saying. I know you guys are thinking, I can see those looks on your faces right now. And I see that yes, good job.
Not a fan.
But not for that, right? I know, I see your shirt,
I'm
yes.
just letting anyone else go first. Good evening, Mayor Milan, council people, and residents of Clawson. My name is Diana Darland, and I'm a member of the Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America South Oakland County chapter. I actually reside in Royal Oak, but we asked the city of Clawson to make a proclamation again this year, designating the first Friday in June to be National Gun Violence Awareness and Wear Orange Day. It's a day to remember and honor victims and survivors of gun violence. And by agreeing to make this proclamation, you will be joining many other municipalities in South Oakland County and across the country to honor gun violence victims and survivors, and also to state and declare that we must do more to end gun violence in America. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak this evening? Okay, then thank you, Diana, for your comments. We will move on to the next item, which is buried here. We have a great evening full of proclamations and presentations, which is always great because that means we're celebrating something. Our first proclamation is that of what was just spoken of, which is a proclamation declaring June 2nd as Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas every day, more than 120 Americans are killed by gun violence and more than 200 are shot and wounded, with an average of more than 17,000 gun homicides every year. And whereas Americans are 26 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries, and whereas Michigan has 1,382 gun deaths every year, with a rate of 13.7 deaths per 100,000 people, a crisis that costs the state $16.8 billion each year, of which $380.5 million is paid by taxpayers. Michigan has the 25th highest rate of gun deaths in the U.S. And whereas gun homicides and assaults are concentrated in cities, with more than half of all firearm-related gun deaths in the nation occurring in 127 cities. And whereas cities across the nation, including in Clawson, are working to end the senseless violence with evidence-based solutions. And whereas protecting public safety in the communities they serve is mayor's highest responsibility, and whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from people with dangerous histories, and whereas mayors and law enforcement officers, in partnership with local violence intervention activists and resources, know their communities best, are the most familiar with the local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. And whereas gun violence prevention is more important than ever, as we see an increase in firearm homicides and non-fatal shootings across the country, increased calls to domestic violence hotlines, and an increase in city gun violence. Whereas in January 2013, Hadia Pendleton was tragically shot and killed at the age of 15. And on June 2nd, 2023, to recognize the 26th birthday of Hadia Pendleton, born on June 2nd, 1997, people across the United States will recognize National Gun Violence Awareness Day and wear orange in tribute to Hadia Pendleton and other victims of gun violence and the loved ones of those victims. And whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Hadia's friends who asked their daughters to commemorate her life by wearing orange, they chose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods. And orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas anyone can join this campaign by pledging to wear orange on June 2nd, the first Friday in June 2023, to help raise awareness about gun violence. And whereas by wearing orange on June 2nd, 2023, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. Whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do so, to do all we can to keep firearms out of the hands of people who should not have access to them, and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our families and communities safe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Milan of the City of Clawson, declare the first Friday in June 2023 to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day. I encourage all citizens to support their local community efforts to prevent the tragic efforts of gun violence and to honor and value human lives. Would you like a copy of this proclamation?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll get a formal good one.
Okay, great.
No problem.
We have, thank you so much for coming, Diana. We're really proud to support this initiative that kind of makes everyone happy, right? It's a tough, touchy subject, a lot of sides to it, but we value human life and want people to be safe and still be able to enjoy their things. So thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. Next up, we have a proclamation recognizing May 21st through 27 as National Public Works Week. And I'm going to pass this paper off to the person to the right of me and say, would you please read this proclamation? Because you guys are going to get so tired of hearing my voice alone. I'm going to help you out here.
Very well. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Clawson, and whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Clawson to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2023 marks the 63rd Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association, be it now. Therefore, be it resolved, the City of Clawson hereby designates the week of May 21st through 27th, 2023, as National Public Works Week. And we urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and all our government agencies and activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life.
We have a couple of our Public Works representatives here today, and I would just like them to stand so that we can acknowledge them. And I was listening to that, and I was kind of smiling when they talk about Public Works for families, because if anyone has little children, especially boys, they know about Public Works from the time they're really little because they love all that equipment, right? So I see you back there. I see you smiling at me like you don't hear me. Stand up so we can applaud you. Please and thank you. If you can't see them, that's Ryan McDonald and Trevor Zablocki, our superintendent and assistant superintendent, who work really hard on our community's behalf, and we do appreciate them. And we're happy to hold this week as an honor of DPW. So we'll move on to the next item, which is a proclamation recognizing May 14th through 21st, 23 as National Police Week.
Whereas we recognize and honor the selfless and heroic service provided by the men and women of the City of Clawson Police Department, and whereas we rely on law enforcement officers and community service aides to keep our neighborhoods safe, enforce our laws, and respond in times of crisis. And whereas everyday law enforcement officers throughout the nation face the threat of violence and danger, routinely putting their lives in jeopardy to defend others, putting themselves at risk of injury, disability, or even death. And whereas these men and women, by their distinctive service and dedicated efforts as law enforcement officers and community service aides, have earned our highest respect and deepest gratitude. And whereas the City of Clawson extends appreciation to our law enforcement officers for the vital services they perform, and their exemplary dedication to the community they serve, now therefore be it resolved, I, reading for Madam Mayor of the City of Clawson, further call upon our citizens to observe the week of May 15th through the 21st, 2023 as National Police Week, and join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities and their invaluable contributions in upholding justice, enforcing the rule of law, and protecting the innocents have established for themselves as an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. In testimony whereof, I hereon set my hand this 16th day of May, 2023, Madam Mayor, City of Clawson.
Thank you for doing that. And thank you to all of the police representatives we have here today. I see many of you standing in the back, but we have other people in the room who also work for our police department who are seated. If you would please stand so we can recognize you as well. Thank you very much. Our next item will be presentation of the 2022, it says 2022, Police Department Awards. That's correct, because it's going backwards. Okay. Didn't want it to be a Hamtramck mistake. Presentation of
Hey, you
2022.
can't hit me when I didn't do it.
I'm just teasing you. Police Department Awards by our interim Chief of Police, Vincent Smith.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council.
Good evening.
First up, please, Sergeant Jody Horn, come to the front.
If anyone's here for photos, please come up here so that you can get a good photo. You will not bother any of us. We want you to be able to capture your special moments.
This will be a life-saving award. On March 1st, 2022, at approximately 5:27 p.m., Sergeant Jody Horn and Officer Elena Barnett responded to the area of West Southbridge Boulevard on a report of an unresponsive person. Upon arrival, officers found a passenger in a vehicle, turning blue with the pulse but struggling to breathe. Sergeant Horn and Officer Barnett assisted the person out of the vehicle and placed them on the ground. Officers administered a dose of Narcan to the person who had stopped breathing and began CPR and rescue breaths. Another dose of Narcan was administered to the person, at which time they opened their eyes and began breathing on their own. Alliance Mobile Health arrived at the location, and officers helped the person to their feet and escorted them to a waiting stretcher for transport to an area hospital. Sergeant Horn and Officer Barnett's quick response, recognition of the severity of the medical emergency, immediate actions, and effective CPR resulted directly in saving the life of the person. For their dedication to the community, Sergeant Jody Horn and Officer Elena Barnett are hereby awarded the Life Saving Award on this 16th day of May, 2023. Officer Barnett is not here today. Oh, stay here, Sergeant Horn.
Kim?
Officer Worth, why don't you guys stand up there?
Chief, you're going to have to get some photo ops with yourself in the process too, so take your time.
All right,
Kim, come up here.
stand next to the Sarge.
Yeah, just come here. Yep, perfect.
All right. This is another life-saving award. On March 13th, 2022, at approximately 6:06 p.m., Sergeant Jody Horn, Sergeant Kevin Wilds, and Officer Jacob Worth responded to the area of West Southbridge Boulevard on a report of a person having a seizure and difficulty breathing. Upon arrival, officers were guided to a residence where they found a person unresponsive in an upstairs bedroom. Officers administered a dose of Narcan to the person, which they responded to before again becoming unresponsive and not breathing. Officers moved the person from a bed to the ground and began CPR and rescue breaths. 2 additional doses of Narcan were administered as Alliance Mobile Health arrived to the location. Officers carried the person down the narrow stairs to an awaiting stretcher, at which time they regained consciousness and were transported to an area hospital. Sergeant Horn, Sergeant Wilds, and Officer Worth's quick response, recognition of the severity of the medical emergency, immediate actions, and effective CPR resulted directly in saving the life of the person. For their dedication to the community, Sergeant Jody Horn, Sergeant Kevin Wilds, and Officer Jacob Worth are hereby awarded the Life Saving Award this 16th day of May, 2023.
Don't do that.
August, I hate you.
Tell them to turn.
Everyone agree?
We'll make a motion.
Yeah, can you guys start? Yeah, let her get you.
Oh, me, hi. Oh, thank you. It's too hot up here. How do you guys do this? Too important.
Okay, next, could I have Alliance Mobile Health paramedic Pat Martindale? Vince from the management of Alliance Mobile Health come up. And then Officer Nikoloff and Detective Tracy. On February 10th, 2022, at approximately 8:35 a.m., Sergeant Kevin Wilds, Officer Dmitry Nikoloff, and Detective Ryan Tracy responded to a residence on North Custer on an overdose complaint. Upon arrival, officers were guided to an upstairs bedroom where they found a woman in her bed unresponsive and not breathing. Officers administered a dose of Narcan to the woman, which resulted in no effect. Officers moved her from the bed to the ground and began CPR and rescue breaths as Alliance Mobile Health paramedics Pat Martindale and Sadie Watson arrived on scene. The efforts by all first responders resulted in the woman being revived. She was transported to an area hospital for follow-up care by Alliance Mobile Health. Sergeant Wilds, Officer Nikolov, Detective Tracy, and paramedics Martindale and Watson's quick response, recognition of the severity of the medical emergency, immediate actions, and effective CPR resulted directly in the saving the life of the person. For their dedication and commitment to the community, Sergeant Wilds, Officer Nikolov, and Detective Tracy are hereby awarded the Life Saving Award on the 16th day of May, 2023. For their dedication and commitment to the community, paramedic Pat Martindale and paramedic Sadie Watson are hereby awarded the civilian citation on the 16th day of May, 2023. Thanks. Need more?
Sure, all together. Let's do it. Let's not get the microphone. Thank you, gentlemen.
Dimitri, come on back up, buddy. Officer Barnett's not feeling well today, so she's not here. On December 6, 2022, at approximately 2:31 p.m., Officer Elena Barnett and Officer Dmitry Nikolov responded to a residence on Broadacre for an unresponsive man who was not breathing. Upon arrival, officers found the man to be blue and not breathing. Officers took over CPR from another resident and attached an automatic external defibrillator to the man's chest. Following the AED analysis, officers delivered 2 electrical shocks to restore the man's heart to its normal rhythm. Officers continued CPR efforts until Alliance Mobile Health arrived on scene and took over medical care. While paramedics continued to perform life-saving measures, Officer Barnett assisted the paramedic crew by driving the ambulance and transporting the man to an area hospital where he was admitted to the critical care unit. Officer Barnett and Officer Nikolov's quick response, recognition of the severity of the medical emergency, immediate actions, and effective CPR resulted directly in saving the life of the person. For their dedication to the community, Officer Elena Barnett and Officer Dmitry Nikolov are hereby awarded the Life-Saving Award on the 16th day of May, 2023. Sergeant Verk and Officer Michael Fowler. On March 18, 2022, at approximately 5 a.m., Sergeant Scott Verk and Officer Michael Fowler responded to a residence on North Custer on an unresponsive female. Upon arrival, officers were directed to a bedroom where they found the female lying in bed. Officers lifted the woman to the floor, checked for a pulse, but found none. They began CPR and administered 2 doses of Narcan without any change. A 3rd dose of Narcan was administered, which resulted in the woman resuming breathing on her own and the location of a pulse. Officers carried the woman out of the home, and turned her over to Alliance Mobile Health, where she was transported to an area hospital. Sergeant Verk and Officer Fowler's quick response, recognition of the severity of the medical emergency, immediate actions, and effective CPR resulted directly in saving the life of the person. For their dedication to the community, Sergeant Verk and Officer Michael Fowler are hereby awarded the Life-Saving Award on the 16th day of May, 2023. Next, Sergeant Horn and Officer Worth. On March 14th, 2022, at approximately 4:05 p.m., Sergeant Jody Horn, Sergeant Kevin Wilds, and Officer Jacob Worth responded to the Comfort Inn, 1145 West Maple, on a report of a shooting. While officers were en route, dispatch advised that 2 shots were heard on the 3rd floor and that a female suspect was in the hotel lobby area. As officers arrived at the location, they observed the suspect exit the front lobby door, throw a gun to the pavement, and raise her hands above her head. Officers gave loud verbal commands to the suspect, and she was taken into custody without incident. Officers then conducted a systematic search of the hotel for additional suspects and/or injured persons. Thankfully, there were no additional suspects or injuries. The suspect was subsequently charged with attempted murder. Due to the actions and skills of all personnel involved, a violent offender and a loaded handgun was removed from the community. For their dedication and commitment to the community, Sergeant Jody Horn, Sergeant Kevin Wilds, and Officer Jacob Worth are hereby awarded the Departmental Unit Citation on the 16th day of May, 2023. Detective Ryan Tracy. On January 27th and February 5th, 2022, Detective Ryan Tracy was a responding officer to 2 suspicious person reports. Investigation during each unrelated incident revealed that the persons were women who were escaping a domestic abuse situation and/or were homeless. In each incident, Detective Tracy arranged and personally paid lodging for the women. Detective Tracy's selfless act of kindness is a credit to the Clawson Police Department. For his dedication, commitment to the community, and selfless act of kindness, Detective Ryan Tracy is hereby awarded a commendation certificate this 16th day of May, 2023. All right, Officer Baindoon is not here, but I feel like I have to read this one to you. On December 25th, 2022, a message was received from a resident on the Clawson Police Department Facebook page stating that she wished to acknowledge an officer's generosity. The message revealed that Officer Cassim Baindoon observed her debit card was not working at the 7-Eleven on 7 North Rochester Road when attempting to make a significant purchase. She went to retrieve another credit card and returned the pay, but was told by the clerk that her purchase was complete and that Officer Baindoon paid for the items. She attempted to repay Officer Baindoon, but he refused and wished her Merry Christmas. The resident stated that the moment made her even prouder to live in the amazing city of Clawson and reminded her what Christmas was all about. Officer Baindoon's selfless act of kindness is a credit to the Clawson Police Department. So he's awarded a commendation this day as well. Sergeant Scott Vierk. Nearly 40 years ago, the anti-drunk driving organization known as Mothers Against Drunk Driver, MAD, was formed with the goal to stop drunk driving. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, every day 32 people are killed in drunk driving crashes, or every 45 minutes someone is killed. MAD works closely with law enforcement officers around the country, supporting enforcement efforts to ensure that our roads are safe. The Clawson Police Department is proactive in its operating while intoxicated enforcement and training, but one officer stands above the rest. Since 2014, Sergeant Scott Vierk has led the department in OWI arrests and has been recognized by MAD as an outstanding officer. The outstanding officer is recognized as those who make a difference in the areas of education, prevention, and enforcement, which reduce impaired driving deaths and injury. In 2022, Sergeant Vierk mentored a new generation of Clawson police officers and led the way with 23 OWI arrests. For his dedication and commitment to the community, Sergeant Scott Vierk is hereby awarded a departmental citation on the 16th day of May, 2023. Chief-Select Bouse, Officer Fowler, and then Mr. Alex Hausman. Would you come up, please? On July 25th, 2022, at approximately 2:19 p.m., officers responded to a residence on North Stephen on a larceny report. Investigation revealed that two men scammed their way into the resident's home by pretending to work for a contracting company and then stole cash from her bedroom. The suspects stole over $1,700 from the victim. Officer Michael Fowler had experience and knowledge of similar incidents in the area and was assigned to process the crime scene for evidence. During the course of canvassing the area for witnesses and processing for evidence, Officer Fowler observed two homes which had security cameras that may have caught a description of the suspects or vehicle used in the crime. Following a review of the security video, Clawson residents Alex Hausman and Gregory Blosser provided investigators with crucial video that assisted with the identification of the suspects involved and additional evidence to seek charges for larceny. During the investigation, investigators developed intelligence that the suspects were wanted in several other jurisdictions across the Metro Detroit area. For their cooperation and provided evidence vital to solving a crime, citizens Alex Hausman and Gregory Blosser are hereby awarded civilian citation on the 16th day of May 2023. Also related to this crime, Officer Michael Fowler, like I said, had experience and knowledge of similar incidents in the area and was assigned to process the scene. He identified the cameras, and through his thoroughness in providing evidence and crucial information, assisted detectives during the investigation. Through Officer Fowler's information and intelligence developed by Chief Select Sergeant Kelly Bouse, two suspects were identified, and furthermore, during the investigation, investigators found the suspects were wanted for similar crimes in several other jurisdictions across the Metro Detroit area. Due to the actions of the skills of Officer Fowler and Sergeant Bouse, Chief Select, serious offenders were identified and a serious crime solved. For their dedication and commitment to the community, Detective Sergeant Kelly Bouse and Officer Michael Fowler are hereby awarded the departmental citation the 16th day of May 2023.
You guys have this down now. I'm impressed.
Obviously, this incident showed the value of cooperation between the residents and the police department as a team. All right, last but least, Sergeant Dave Scott, please come up. Quoting the City of Clawson website, nobody fires up pride in the USA and the celebration of Independence Day like Clawson does. A tradition like no other since 1933, Clawson's annual 4th of July celebration and festivities kicks off well before the grand finale of a spectacular fireworks display on the night of Independence. Seeing it firsthand, it is a memorable celebration that draws tens of thousands of visitors throughout the day and many more for the main event. Coordinating security and safety for this event is pretty intimidating. However, behind the scenes, there is one person who ensures a safe and enjoyable time for all attending. Since 2013, Sergeant David Scott has been assigned as the officer in charge and coordinator for 4th of July events involving police and supporting services. This is no small task and involves coordinating assistance from the DPW, Fire Department, Michigan State Police, Troy, Madison Heights, Berkeley, Oakland County Sheriff, Hazel Park, and Royal Oak Police Departments. Sergeant Scott's preparation starts months in advance, and on the day of the event entails a 16-hour workday to ensure that everyone has a safe and enjoyable day. Due to his actions, skills, and planning, his dedication and the commitment of the community, Sergeant David Scott is hereby awarded the Merit Service Award on the 16th day of May 2023.
Should I stop?
Thank you.
So if the police department department could stay for a minute, we have a couple of more, we'll have one more thing. Which one first? There we go. Which one first? Okay. Barb Chambers, would you please come forward? Pardon me?
I said, yes, Honorable Mayor.
Yay, a nice comment in these chambers, yay. Barb, I'm so happy to present you with the Clawson City Council Community Spirit Award. I'm gonna cry through this just because you are such an encourager. We present this award in recognition of your community spirit. While your career in code enforcement began in the city of Royal Oak, you joined Clawson in 2005, and since then, you have been responsible for the safety and welfare of our citizens by enforcing local codes and ordinances concerning building, zoning, housing, environmental health, and life and safety. Your passion for improving our community has allowed you to thrive in this role and forge countless positive relationships with our residents and business owners. Although people may not always be thrilled to have a code enforcement officer at their door, those who have had the pleasure of meeting you quickly find that you will not only greet them with a smile, but you will work to come to a positive resolution for both sides while remaining in compliance with our ordinances. Your joyful demeanor, positive energy, and dedication to serving the community are contagious and are directly credited with building a positive work environment for your coworkers. Your commitment to others is also demonstrated in your volunteerism for the Blair Memorial Friends of the Library, the Zoning Board of Appeals for the City of Troy, and as a board member of the Troy Historical Commission. You are a true public servant and demonstrate the heart of Clawson, and we thank you for making a difference in our community.
Thank you. Okay.
Photo time, please.
Oh, I could go up.
I want people to know that I solicited comments for Barb. I didn't know her history. I know that she's here. I know she's positive, and she always makes me smile. And when you talk to communities, she has titles such as the Rat Lady, which I really didn't think was very friendly, but it is meant in good spirit because she knows how to take care of them for us. But many of those words came from people who work with her every day, and they're from the heart. So I just wanted you to know that they weren't just some words that came out. They were heartfelt. So these for you. I guess you can come back here and we're all together. Jill, are you coming to join us? Chief, would you like to join us? It is a surprise. This says that I am the heart of Clawson.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. This is the day that just keeps on giving.
Congratulations.
We have yet one more proclamation that we'd like to give this evening. Chief Smith. It's big. I have to get the light right. Whereas on May 5th, 2022, Vincent Smith was appointed to serve our community as the interim police chief after retiring as the Harper Woods Director of Public Safety. Whereas interim police chief Smith was able to continue to build on the foundation already in place to accomplish many milestones during his tenure with the city of Clawson, and as he has shown exceptional determination and professionalism in all aspects of his work. Whereas he was instrumental in establishing an equitable process for vetting internal candidates to become the next police chief of Clawson. Whereas Chief Smith established and ensured the fair and impartial completion of field training of 5 patrol officers. Whereas he oversaw the testing, promotion, and established Clawson's first field training syllabus for new promoted sergeants. Whereas Chief Smith ensured the attendance of Chief Select Bouse to attend new chief school and Sergeant Horn to attend staff and command school. Whereas he oversaw the transition to upgrade the department's service weapons as well as provide an established and clear path forward to finally renovate the department's locker rooms, thus eventually providing equitable support facilities for all officers. Whereas Chief Smith worked closely with the Clawson School District to ensure the greatest security posture for the district to include established protocols for increased police presence, building access, and building familiarizations. Whereas his unwavering support of the department's pursuit to accreditation by the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police was essential to quote the Clawson Police Department accreditation team, "This past year would have been much more difficult had it not been for Chief Smith. If we needed something, we knew Chief Smith would support us and assist us when needed." Whereas under his leadership and calm demeanor, Chief Smith mentored every member of the Clawson Police Department, making an everlasting contribution to their careers and the profession of law enforcement. Now therefore be it resolved, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor and speaking on behalf of the entire city council, I do hereby express our sincerest appreciation and gratitude to Interim Chief Vincent Smith for his service to the Clawson community and wish he and his family all the best moving forward.
Thank you.
If we get one with all the council, and then we'll come back, take our seats, and then all the police can come up here and we'll have it. So, ladies and gentlemen in blue, come forward. Council will take their seats. Or stand behind their seats. No,
Hey, Ken, you realize you're
no,
just
stand
in this
this way.
photo.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Kathy? Come on.
Oh, is that what it was? Sorry. Yeah, I forgot. It seemed different.
You get up there too?
Are we standing behind them?
Yes, yes, please. If you would, gather council behind them.
Do you guys think you can like do it up a little bit or?
Get over here
See
then.
council members?
All right.
Stop saying your name. Wait, how do you get so tall?
Just jump.
Found it.
How about Shelley too?
Okay. Yes, yes. I'm not.
Shelley, you want to come up?
Thank you. Pretty sure it's the ultraviolet. Big time. Go ahead.
Hold on, we got one more.
Hold on. Nick.
Nice.
Do you want Kathy and Kim up too?
Oh, yeah, Kathy and
Kim.
Kim. Yeah, part. No,
we want you.
No, come on. Yes, please.
No. There is no behind.
Let's go.
Come on.
Where's Kim?
Can I go behind the?
No.
You want my seat, don't you, Kim?
She like to feel your seat up there.
Such power. Thank you. But wait, there's more.
Just wanted to give you something real personal from all of us. We do appreciate everything you've done for us in this year. I don't want to get all soppy. You can read it all in here, but we do appreciate it. It's a big shoes to fill, and you jumped in with both feet, and we appreciate it. And we won't forget it.
I appreciate you.
Where are we going again?
Bring it in.
Kim. Kathy. Ladies,
Come on, Kathy, come on, Kim.
you're on the team.
We're on the picture, that's cool. Thank you.
Thank you. She has to be, right?
Nice boy. Appreciate it. Ma'am, can I just say a couple words?
You can say as
Please.
many words as you'd like. You've earned them.
I'll keep it brief, because if you haven't found out, the city manager likes acronyms, and one of the first ones I learned years ago was BLUF, bottom line up front. So here's the bottom line. Recently, one of our officers mentioned to me that he thought I was just gonna come into the police department and keep the seat warm until the next chief was chosen. He stated that he never expected me to work hard and that he appreciated my efforts. That comment made me feel good, but honestly, after observing Clausen for a few days, it wasn't hard to get invested and care about the community. During my time here, we've had some highs and some lows, but there was one constant: the little city with the big heart. The support that the residents give is remarkable, and I'm thankful that I was able to serve here. I'm thankful to Mr. Raker for his leadership, vision, and commitment to the community and giving me the opportunity to be part of Clausen. Nick Stepnitz, thank you, sir, for your leadership, assistance, and can-do attitude. I'm thankful for working with the elective body and serve you as residents. Mayor, thank you for our pleasant conversations. Mr. Sampson, thank you for your Navy stories. Go Army. Mr. Anderson, I'm thankful for your attention to detail. Mr. Tinlin, I didn't get a chance to work with you, but I appreciate your efforts since you took over place on council. And Mr. Shepard, thank you for your passion about baseball. Thank you for my fellow department leaders who made my time here easier by working as a team. Kelly Rao, Finance Director, Trevor, and Ryan from the DPW. DPW is very valuable in the community. You're a great professional group, and the city is in a good place with its leadership. And my PD staff, clerks, code enforcement officers, it has been an honor to serve with you. You are a special group, and all of you brought out the best version of me. One of my people I admired very much, Colin Powell, said, always be looking for that which you will do well and that which you love doing. And when you find those two things together, man, you got it. Thank you for one of the best years I've had working for an agency. And thank you, Shelley, for supporting me and sharing me with Clausen for a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That was so uplifting and great to celebrate you all. We really appreciate you. I see Charter Commission members have come into the room. Would you like to present an update to us, or are you guys exasperated from the meeting you just left? I see one exasperated. And I actually don't see anyone else, so I'm going to say you're passing on this. Okay, we will take you up on another day for a presentation, and we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is business. Item 8 is consideration of approving the following consent agenda. Item A is minutes of the regular city council meeting held on Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023, as presented. Item B, minutes of the city council budget workshop meeting held on Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023, as presented. Item C, list of bills in the amount of $581,009.94.
So moved. Support.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm in a no support.
Mayor Milan.
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes.
Thank you. Consent agenda has been approved. We'll move on to the next item, which is new business, item number 9. Item A on number 9 is consideration of a public hearing, solicitation of public comments on the following proposed millage rates and budgets for fiscal year July 1st, 2023, June 30th, 2024.
So you're going to open a public hearing?
I am.
Wants to.
Do I have to list these things, or I don't have to list them?
You don't have to.
Okay, then we won't list them. We'll just open the public hearing. Public hearing is open. If anyone would like to speak, please make your way to the podium. Everyone looks comfortable who's left, so I'm assuming we're not having any public comment, so I will close the public hearing. And then we'll move on to item B, which is consideration of the appropriation resolution for the fiscal year 2023-2024 combined city budget, 2024 through 2029, capital improvement plan, and proposed millage rates.
Madam Mayor, I'm not sure exactly on the motion, but I would like to motion to move the final approval of the vote for the budget items to a special meeting that will allow Mr. Shepherd to be present for the vote.
I'll support that.
Okay, so.
Is that allowed? Is that the right spot?
You,
Okay.
the motion's made, you motion to move it to a
Seconded,
special
so.
meeting, I mean.
Okay.
Let's have discussion, any discussion? I'm content with the budget as is. I don't know, we can't actually, council member is, Shepherd is not actually allowed to give input on our meetings because he's not here.
He can give input, he just
Okay.
can't vote.
Okay,
Yeah. No, I'm satisfied. So I think we need to move forward with it as per our charter. And no, I'm fine. I appreciate that. Thank you.
you're not concerned that your vote will not be counted on this? I mean, it's one thing for you to say that you're for it from far away.
I'd love to have been there, but unfortunately I could not.
Okay. Let's, yes, sir.
Madam Mayor, I would ask that this body would move forward with this budget as it's been worked on, presented for months. Councilman Shepherd did meet with the finance director and myself when he was unavailable previously. He's here online giving his consent and support, unless there's, barring some other major unknown, I would like the body to please move forward.
And I wanted the transparency to make sure that, at least on public record, before we go to this vote, which is important that we could have this discussion.
Okay. Any comments?
I want everybody to be on record for this. And there's too many years in it that I'm not ready to vote for it yet.
Okay, do you have any other comments, Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, I can, I can see both sides of it. On one hand, it looks like we have universal support to go forward, but I respect what Councilman Sampson's trying to say, that it'd be good to be on record. I guess I'll just go on the record as saying I believe that Councilman Shepherd has given his support informally, but nonetheless documented. So, yeah, I think I'll vote to go forward.
Well, the motion on the floor, just to be clear, is to postpone this to a special meeting at another date. That wasn't said
Okay, let's
yet.
do-
That's the motion.
Let's do a vote on that, please.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Could I respectfully ask the provider of that motion to rescind that motion? May I ask that? I don't think there's anything stopping
Are
from.
we still in open discussion? Because I'm learning here, so.
Yeah.
Or can we just vote no?
Can I vote against my own motion? But I agree.
Yes,
you rescind it.
I wanted the discussion, right? So I can rescind the motion. I just wanted the transparency to have all of us here. But now talking, I'm fine, and I'll rescind my motion.
Can you rescind?
Can I do
Well,
that?
he seconded it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have
Otherwise,
to have
you
a
just vote
second
on it.
rescind
You can
as
vote
well?
against it if you want to, it doesn't matter, so.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of concur with the whole idea that it would have been nice for Councilmember Shepherd to be on record with this, but he's absent, and I guess if it were extremely important, he'd figured he would be here, so.
But it's the most important thing we do.
It is the most important
And,
thing we do.
We can wait a couple days for him to get back in town.
I
No,
believe
I
that
mean,
this has
if
been
I
on the
may, Madam Mayor,
schedule for
I
a
truly
while.
appreciate that.
And if he wasn't
Just
going to
work
be here in advance, he
today
should have said
required
that.
my presence, and that's unfortunate. There was no way I could have gotten out of it, unfortunately. But as City Manager Raker had said, we had gone over in length regarding the details of the budget. We've had discussions over it. My questions regarding it had been answered at the previous meetings that we've had. And while again, I would love to be on record for it, unfortunately, that's not possible this evening.
I can see concern, however, that you were absent through our budget meetings, our budget workshops, and then are absent for the budget vote itself, but that's your decision. So I would like to call for this vote.
In the vote, just for clarification, it's for.
To table to another meeting, which you did not have a date set, but to not vote on, to a
and I
special
will-
meeting.
I'm asking the members of this body to vote no on this motion, please.
Okay, so we begin with Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin.
No.
Councilmember Anderson.
No.
Mayor Milan.
No.
And the motion fails. So we're back on B.
Okay, so we're back on B. Would someone like to make another motion regarding item B?
Okay, I'll try this one. So, Madam Mayor, I motion, we move the appropriation resolution for the fiscal year combined city budget and 2024-2029 capital improvement plan based on the proposed rates as follow: general operating millage of 9.1515, additional general operating millage rate of 3.700 rubbish collection, and disposal millage rate of 1.8297, additional garbage and rubbish collection and disposal service millage rate of 0.7212, Blair Memorial Library, PA 164 rate, 0.8422, Blair Memorial Library rate of 0.2832, PA 359 of 1925 special tax for advertising rate of 0.1063, Clawson Downtown Development Authority District PA 57 of 2018 rate of 1.9027, Parks debit rate of 0.5800, bond debit rate 3.0200, sidewalk debit rate 0.6500 be approved as presented.
Support.
Does it matter that you missed the combined city budgets and capital improvement plan, or was that included in the beginning? I don't know, verbiage-wise. I want to not have to go backwards for anything.
I think you said that, ma'am,
Yeah.
Okay.
at the beginning. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure. If it was in the beginning, I don't remember the beginning, right?
was a long one.
If we have any comments?
Yeah, I got a question. Does this budget contain that special levy?
It does. It's right there in the specified motion. It's, Mr. Tinlin said PA 359 of 1925, special tax for advertising rate of 0.1063.
Okay.
And I've made that, we've had many discussions on that, and it was included all along.
Can we do a levy without
This-
doing the resolution by itself?
You can, I ask that this council vote this motion up or down as written, please.
Well, that's hiding something in there. I mean, just.
It's not hiding it. It's been
sliding.
clear. It's been
No,
very clear. It's not characterized as sliding anything in there. I've made it very clear since actually probably the first week I was here.
Yeah, we're raising people's taxes without their vote. We keep saying we're only going to raise the water rates by, 25 a quarter, $100 a year. I don't know, my 21% is going to go way higher than that because my bill's $250. So when you do that, it comes out. So we're taxing all these people. We're raising their water rates. Nowhere in this budget shows any conservatism in changing, trying to reduce something better. It has a miscellaneous construction in it for repairing roads, and we're cutting through halfway through a pothole and not fixing it. And there's 2 or 3 examples of that in this town. So at this moment, there's no way I'd vote for this, because we can't keep taxing people. We're one of the highest tax bases around here. So we need to figure out how to do it better and cheaper, and quit putting the burden on the people, and quit putting the water rates up, and this new levy for communications is really only a ploy to take money and put it in the general fund that we can just go ahead and spend it the way we want. And I'm totally against all that, so my vote will be no.
That's a total inaccurate characterization of these efforts for this budget season on this subject.
You have $50,000 extra that you can do with the one.
And we have
That's what you stated.
$50,000 that will be set aside specifically for the promotions of this community, which then $50,000 would be used for miscellaneous concrete out of the general fund, which would, on average, do 10 more miscellaneous concrete projects. We had this discussion at length
Oh,
with
yeah.
you. In fact, you are one of the advocates for doing more with the miscellaneous
Up
concrete.
until I seen how we're doing this, I sent you examples, 2 places where they
Precisely.
cut through,
And because
cut through,
because of the conditions of the roads, of which during your tenure you haven't done anything.
yeah.
Yeah, precisely. And here we are, we're doing something about it now.
Me and 50 other people, because there's been a lot of people that haven't done anything, so they never had the money to do it. Now we're starting to do it, and now we're doing partial jobs.
Because you have $174 million in infrastructure that needs to be
Right.
addressed.
And that $50,000 extra that you're getting for new software and a new sign out front, the sign works fine. The software we got works great. You can get the best software in the world right now, and you still have nobody that does it. There's nobody in this place that I asked you last time, and you thought sometimes I do it, sometimes Next does it, sometimes, you know.
Members of council, I would just ask that we please vote on this. This is political posturing in an election year of a council member, and I'm just going to call it the way I see it. You got it. You can't have.
Yeah, discussion.
Sorry, Mike.
I mean,
Yeah, no, we're having discussion.
Yeah.
Clearly, we're having discussion. Do you have any comments regarding this?
you know, we've had a lot of meetings on the city budget, and I know Joe's referencing to the PA 359. That was actually listed on page 12 of the budget, where they say specifically that money was going to be spent for communication, which has been a passion from a lot of the voters. And I guess how I see it is, you know, a great quote by Mr. Clark. Politicians think about the next elections, leaders think about the next generation. So I think it's very important that we pass this budget, focus on infrastructure, still keep that transparency, but I think it's time for action now. So I support the budget as is.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
I agree. There's some details there that one could debate. And again, line number, item 7, the advertising millage rate, which we've already discussed, is going to offset other costs. So by and large, I agree with Councilman Tinlin that we should go ahead and move forward.
Mr. Riker, would you please remind us the actual amount that's this $50,000 PA 359 will impact our community?
Yes, ma'am. So what we'll do is the things that we use, that we pay for right now, for whether it's Merge Live, or it could be to bring back our quarterly newsletter, upgrades to the website, anything communication-wise that promotes the community, this PA 359 of 1925 can be used for. We would extract $50,000 out of the general fund. Those expenses would be used with those funds from PA 359, and you would have $50,000 in the general fund, technically, that could be used for miscellaneous concrete. And I provided some figures based on our miscellaneous concrete program. Last spring, on average, roughly, depending on the size, it was roughly $5,000 for the average miscellaneous concrete program. So then you could get 10 more miscellaneous concrete programs or projects done this year. And then the objective was to build momentum going into November of 2024, where likely we'll need to go before the voters to support a special millage for infrastructure. And this would help us demonstrate getting some things going and creating some momentum, and people are happy when we actually are addressing issues in their community. And for quite some time, as stressed in my budget letter, it has been neglected.
Could you please remind us what the actual dollar amount impact will be per resident for this millage?
I'm sorry.
I want to say it's
less than
nominal,
$9.
and nominal is when it's not, I mean, we're all going to we will all be impacted by it, and I don't mean nominal in a disrespectful.
It's $9 a year for the budget.
50 cents a month or something. That's what I was thinking. So I think if we look at this, the concern, if I recall our last conversations as a body, you were concerned that the dollars would actually be spent for something such as he's describing today. that the 50,000 would actually go back into the general budget and actually be spent on road projects, and that the 50,000 that's supposedly allocated for communications, that we actually know that those are going towards communications. That was your original concern. Is that not correct? Is there a way we can mitigate his concerns by having some sort of oversight of those funds that you can show that that's been done? And then maybe when you're determining where those dollars are going to be spent, could council have some sort of input on?
I
Because there's a
believe,
lot of priorities and there's a lot of things you could do with it, right? And you've mentioned several of them. We've done this several times. A lot of what you're talking about would exceed $50,000 guaranteed, period. But I do understand that $50,000 could build on many of the things that we currently do.
so correct me if I'm wrong, Kelly, but this would be an auditable item where we have to comply with the utilization of those funds specifically for what they're dedicated for. And in conjunction with that, we can tie bar the actual like $50,000 worth of miscellaneous concrete projects that we can do because of that. So we could clearly demonstrate this, and we
Yeah,
will.
I think if there were transparency for everyone that says this is what we got, this is what we're doing, and that it was very open, that it would be a little more palatable for people, because I don't think it's actually the dollar amount, I think it's the idea, everyone thinks everyone's up to something all the time, and I would hope that if you were gonna be up to something, you'd pick a greater number than this to
I
do
wouldn't
something
pick any
great.
number, ma'am, 'cause
No,
I'm
but
not
you know
up
what I
to
mean,
anything.
I'm saying that
Yes, ma'am.
if there were gonna be some kind of bad activity, that we'd go big, right? Go
No,
big or go
ma'am,
home.
I wouldn't do any bad activities. so
No,
that's
and
not
I
even part
wasn't
of it.
implying that you would, sorry, that was a bad
So,
analogy.
no worries.
Take that back.
My concerns aren't really how to spend the money. My concerns is we sit around in this body and we talk about it's only 24 a quarter, 100 a year. It's 100. It's only 50 cents a month. We all don't understand a fixed budget. And there's a lot of people out there on a fixed budget, and unless their taxes have gone up, their water's going up. Now we say let's just throw another. It's cheap. Don't worry about it. It's not going to work out to be 50 cents. It's going to be more. And we keep asking all this, and we never told the citizens yet, we're going to do this smarter. And, we're going to do it like that. We're going to save money here. None of this budget says they're going to save money. It's all blank check, and if we need more money, we're going to amend the budget. So that's my concern. My concern isn't the small amount of money or the really, if you want to buy a new sign, we're going to have to vote on it anyway, because that sign works perfectly. It's all that. We got software for a website. The website's horrible. Everybody talks about it. If we buy brand new software, it's going to be brand new software that works horrible. We need to put somebody in charge of a lot of things. We need plans to go with all this money being spent, so we know it gets spent.
Well, that's what I was just asking for. I thought that was my request, that we have some sort of transparency with how this actually plays
It
out.
literally will be an auditable item. I mean, when the auditors come in, we will be held accountable for that. And to go the extra mile, those $50,000, we can tie bar our efforts to demonstrate what we spent the other $50,000 on as far as the miscellaneous concrete is concerned. And I tell you what, Mr. Sampson, I take great umbrage with how you're characterizing things, because you are way wrong. You are way wrong.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. And this is, what you're trying to do is mislead, misrepresent, and I'm not going to sit here and tolerate it and not call you out on it, because
There is no trust between me and you. You know that. And I want to see it in writing, what you're going to use it for.
I've provided you that
No.
plenty of times already.
You haven't said we're going to use it on certain items. Can you pick them, or does council approve them?
The funds are specifically
I
allocated.
didn't talk to you, I'm talking to him. Are you going to pick them or approve them?
They're going to be managed by the city manager according to.
So you'll be able to use it any way you want, and we just, so never mind.
Now, can we, because you just want to be adversarial, sir.
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
We've covered this several times, and I'm going to hold you to that. The fact that you've been exposed to this information on multiple accounts.
I know. It didn't make
Okay,
sense then, it doesn't
so you make your
sense.
stand right here and right now, and I ask the rest of council to please
Let's
support the
vote
budget.
on it.
So I'd just like to summarize this, my observation between the conversation you gentlemen just had. Councilmember Sampson, you're concerned about communication of items within the community, right? That we provide, whatever we provide our citizens, we're able to communicate it out. He's looking at a way to communicate information out. And, you know, we've sat here repeatedly and requested information to go out through our website, through signs, through publications, only because they don't have the capacity to do so, because they're taking care of all their business. I think we have to give them the opportunity to actually do what they say they're going to do, which is this. This is something, if it doesn't play out the way you think it needs to play out, or the way council thinks it needs to be played out in the future, it does not have to be approved. It has to be approved every year. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So let's see what we can do, if we can increase our communication. And that's a benefit to our communities every bit as much as, maybe not as much, but it's as impactful as getting our roads repaired is, to let our community know what things we do, what services we provide, what is available to them, to do things like promote the good that we had in this room tonight, of all the really wonderful things that happen for the people who represent us every day. And I think that's a really, I'm touchy-feely. I think touchy-feely is something we need to pay for right now in this, because I
Let's tell the
think
people-
something needs to be done.
Let's tell the people that their water rates are going up. Let's give them a program that if they need help, we can help them with their water bill. We don't have that.
We have one.
There are programs.
The
there
RAP
are
program we
programs
just
available.
distributed
exists.
today.
Then you need to advertise it on a website. Oh, we don't use the website, so let's advertise it on a website. Let's tell them people that, hey, we're raising your water rates, but if you can't afford it, call us. We'll help you. We just keep adding things to people, and people on fixed incomes can't just keep paying it.
And we have to be sensitive to that, but we also have to be sensitive to the overall, which is we still have things that we need to do, and we want to do things as best we can. And sometimes we just have to take a little bump to do them better. And this is an effort, in my opinion, it's an effort, and I was kind of on the fence in the beginning, just because I don't like to speak for other people, and it's more money, but I don't want to use nominal, but it's the small impact that we'll have on individuals here could have a huge impact on our community at large if we actually do what they're planning on doing. And I'm all for spreading good news, and that's something we really need to work on here. And they need the tools to be able to do it.
To your
What's
point.
good news to one person is not good news to a person on a fixed income.
No, I understand that. Like,
Yeah.
we can all, someone could hand us all a check for $5,000, and some of us be elated, and all of us be like, $5,000? I mean, I get it. There's a difference in our
Let's call the vote.
expectations.
Let's call the vote.
Let us call the vote. I'm sorry.
Glenn, do you need to say anything or no?
I hate to echo our governor, but fix the damn roads. And I think this is the way that we can get started doing that.
Thank you for that. Let us call our vote, please.
First up would be Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor Milan,
Yes,
Councilmember Sampson.
No. No.
The budget passes.
thank you. We're proud to pass our budget, and we will trust our city manager to, be transparent with this one issue, and we trust that he'll do his best to utilize those funds for the best of our community. Now, we will move on to item 9B, which is
No.
wait,
C.
I already did that.
That was B.
Yay. We will move on to item 9C, which is consideration to approve the Hartwell Concrete Contract Modification Number 24 for miscellaneous pavement and sewer repairs. Motion, please.
Madam Mayor, I motion we move the Hartwell contract modification number 24 from miscellaneous pavement and sewer repairs as presented in the amount of $252,558.29 to be paid with the city's ARPA funds be approved as presented.
Support.
Discussion.
I just said it a few minutes ago. I think the price is good, but we need assurance from the city that somebody's going to be out inspecting it for us. Because I can tell you, there's two places that we cut potholes in half. One of them we pinned good concrete to a section of concrete that's actually got a big X and fallen in. Nobody from the city's out there looking. When they open the hole up, nobody's looking to see if it's 8 inches or 6 inches. I watched the two on from they were both on learning, and I just seen a couple of drive-bys. one of them holes, it's half of the pothole was cut away. The other half, the city manager assured me that they'd fill it with coal patch from the other half from now on. That's what we're supposed to be doing, is fixing the potholes, not fixing part of it and filling it with patch. So that job would have only been 2 saw blades cut, and they could have replaced that whole pothole along with the huge section they did. But no, we wanted to not do it, I guess.
Trevor Zabalaki is here, our DPW director, superintendent, whatever, superhero. Trevor, would you please weigh in on this for us? Thank you.
So yes, you're speaking of 2 spots directly in front of your house?
No, 370 Lerner and a corner of Lerner and
Yes.
Lincoln.
Many of the spots that we are fixing, the money only goes so far. It goes to a certain point. If we continue to go, we're going to continue to go, we're going to continue to go, we're going to do the whole road.
But if you looked at that,
I did look at it.
That would have taken 2 saw blades, and you had over $1 million worth of equipment mobilized. The cost of the projects is not cement; it's the mobilization of all that. Two. It would have been 2 saw cuts. You could have played probably about a yard and a half to fill it, and you'd had the whole patch done. But it got cut in half, and then the other one over on Lincoln, it's right next to one that's actually got a big X and collapsing. So the ground's collapsing all around that area. We should have taken that section right out when you finished the repair.
Okay, well, I respectfully disagree with you.
Yeah.
I did go out and look at these, and I talked with engineers and the actual contractor, and we all had the same feeling. You keep going, where do you stop? And we all agreed that was the best place to call it a stop.
Had a man on the backhoe, your contractor said, "How come I ain't replacing that?"
Because
I said, "I don't know, but call city and ask him why."
He's the man in the backhoe.
Well, he's the one that knows that's been doing it.
Okay, I'm telling you, I've talked with engineers and the actual contractor himself, and we discussed those spots.
Mm-hmm.
And the discussion was, do we keep going, or do we have to call it a stop somewhere? And we all agreed the spots we stopped were where we had to stop.
That the one over at Lincoln's about a 3-inch drop, right in the middle. It's a perfect X, and the X is falling in.
But we can't just go 3 more inches. It would be this much further. We get that much further, we're in the same situation that you're talking
If you go
about.
look at it, that's already cut. It's got dividers and everything. You just needed to take it out and replace it with cement, re-rod it, and put cement back in. There's no cutting on that one. The one down at 370 would have taken 2 cuts, and it would have taken about a yard and a half to fix. And you wouldn't have had any potholes in that area. The other 2 potholes that are farther down the street, well, you will go get them. We'll never replace them. 2 potholes.
Never?
It'll be years before they finally just dissolve themselves. And it'll take the new cement along with it.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, we can't make every spot perfect. We're doing the best we can with what we got.
Does your contractor stick to the scope of work that you provide them?
Yes.
That's what we expect of them. Are you satisfied with the work that Hartwell is performing?
Absolutely. And I'm satisfied with the meetings I have with them. There are times where we have those discussions and we do move further out than what originally was planned. There are times where we talk about it and it just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So it's not a cut and dry. Like it's always a discussion. It's just what makes sense.
Right, that's what I want to know. I just want to know that that's all we need to know. We need to know that you're paying attention and that they're doing the scope of work that was provided to them and that you are following up and having communication. And if there's opportunities to move a little further, you take them when it makes sense and falls within a certain scope, right? And then other times it just doesn't work, so you have to say, it makes sense, but we can't do that.
It just
Like my street, I'll take for example, great job on Phillips. You enter my street and up to the first driveway, it looks like it's just a bad street.
That's actually a perfect example.
It is, right?
We met.
But they aren't cutting your cement. They've actually cut a pothole in half, fixed this half of the pothole, and with 2 saw blades, they could have fixed it. With 1.5 yards of concrete, they could have fixed the other part. But no, they cut it in half and said, "Oh, we still got a pothole there. Now we got to patch the pothole." Now I got a text from the city manager saying, we're gonna address it with pothole, with coal patch. That doesn't make sense. when that bucket was there and when the saws were there, you could have taken that thing out. Then this whole piece would have been solid. The other ones down the road, I don't expect them to do it. But I expect if your blade touches the pothole, take the whole pothole out. Don't do partial.
That's something you can
That-
look at
that-
for the future, correct? On an
Lots of
individual
bargains.
basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does that satisfy everyone? Any other comments?
Call the vote.
Let us vote. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Mayor Milan?
Yes,
Councilmember Sampson?
No.
Councilmember Tinlin?
Yes.
thank you. We have now approved the Hartwell contract modification for pavement sewer repairs. We'll move on to the next item, which is item 9D, and it is consideration of a resolution requesting reimbursement from the Oakland County West Nile Virus Fund for the purchase of West Nile larvicide tablets, which is something we do every year.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, concerns? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Mayor Milan?
Yes,
Councilmember Sampson?
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin?
Yes.
thank you. We shall purchase our West Nile virus larvicide tablets, which are reimbursed. We get reimbursed from Oakland County, right? Item 9E is consideration of establishing a public hearing to solicit comments to reprogram certain 2020 program year community development block grant funds.
So moved, but we want to put a date on it?
Is there a second?
Second.
Nick, is this yours? Is anything you want to drop in on this?
Yeah, I'll just give a brief overview.
Thank you.
So a public hearing is required for the reprogramming of the balance of the 2020 program year funds from the CDBG program. These funds were used to install ADA compliant sidewalk ramps at the intersection of North Weebick and Selfridge. That project has been completed and there is a leftover balance available for us to use of $12,646.26, which we're allowed to reprogram for another project. The recommendation will be to reprogram that money to the 2022 project, which is to install ADA compliant sidewalk ramps at North Custer and Phillips, as well as the northwest, northeast, and southwest corner of North Washington and Phillips. We do recommend that a public hearing be set for Tuesday, June 6th to solicit public comment for the reprogramming of CDBG funds.
My motion was this motion, but I said if we're going to put a date on it, this is asking for a public hearing.
You just gave us a date,
What date was it?
Tuesday, June 6th.
2023, yes.
Then put it on the motion.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I asked.
That's okay.
And we decided to blow right across it.
Well, I had full confidence that Nick was going to give us a date,
Yeah.
which we now have. So do you feel we are in compliance now? Are you content?
Yep.
Great. Then, I think we can move to a roll call, please.
Mayor Milan?
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson?
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin?
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
June 6th it is.
Thank you. We have set a public hearing to solicit comments for the reprogramming of certain 2022 program year community development block grant funds for Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. Good? We'll move on to the next item, which is item 9F, which is consideration of a resolution to participate in Oakland County's Urban County Community Development Block Grant Programs for 2024 through 2026.
Madam Mayor, I move the resolution to participate in the Oakland County Urban County Community Development Block, the CDBG programs for the program years 2024, 2025, and 2026 be approved.
Support.
There's there's
Should I
more to
put
that
more in that?
motion?
Should I put the rest of the motion in to furthermore?
Whatever's required by
Yeah.
law, I would ask Nick what's required.
I would definitely put that motion.
Then furthermore, we resolve to remain in Oakland County Urban County Community Development Programs, which shall be automatically renewed in successive 3-year qualification periods of time, or until such time that is in the best interest of the city of Clawson to terminate the cooperative agreement.
Nick?
Councilman Sampson, are you okay with that additional language? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Nick, do you have any comments for this?
I was just going to give some background on it. So in order to participate in the Oakland County Urban County Community Development Block Grant Program, we must submit a resolution to the county renewing our cooperative agreement every 3 years. By renewing the agreement with the county, the city is pulled together with other participating communities and more funding becomes available. It is recommended that the council does approve this cooperative agreement.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Mayor Milan.
Yes. So we have moved to participate in Oakland County's Urban County Community Development Block Grant programs for 24, 25, 26, and to remain in the program for a successive 3 years. Now we will move on to item 9G. We don't usually get to Gs. This is probably a pretty long section. Next item is consideration to amend the current collective bargaining agreements with AFSCME Patrol and Command units to include the observation of Juneteenth as a federal holiday.
So moved.
Support.
Would you like to give us any rationale for this?
Sure, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
The current collective bargaining agreements do not include the Juneteenth federal holiday that was approved in 2021. Last year, I did not have the situational awareness to bring this to your attention. It will be included in the current negotiations. For greater understanding of the historic significance of Juneteenth, I have provided the following from the Smithsonian website. Quote, even though the Emancipation Proclamation was made effective in 1863, it could not be implemented in places still under Confederate control. As a result of the westernmost Confederate state of Texas, enslaved people would not be free until much later. Freedom finally came on June 19, 1965, when some 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas. The Army announced that more than 250,000 enslaved black people in the state were free by executive decree. This day came to be known as Juneteenth by the newly freed people of Texas. I'm very respectfully requesting council to support the following amendments to the current and respective contracts. Listed is the specific language for all three, and this would be all city offices would be closed in observation of Juneteenth on Monday, June 19th, 2023.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Councilman Shepherd. So we are at Councilmember Tinlin.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Mayor Milan.
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
So we've just added Juneteenth, May 9th, sorry, I'm in May. I'm in May, we're talking June, June 19th, 2023 to be part of the collective bargaining agreements moving forward. And then we move on to old unfinished business. Do we have any old unfinished business? Excellent answer. We shall not have any old unfinished business, and we'll move on to public comments for items not on the agenda. If you're here this evening and would like to speak to any item that's not on the agenda, we would be happy to hear from you. Come to the podium, state your name and address, and we'll allot you 3 minutes. Since no one's coming forward, we will not have public comments at this time, and we'll move on to our city clerk's report. Mr. Gitschlag.
Only thing to report this week is a big thank you to the 2 members of the police department, the 3 members of the fire department, home run hitting Ryan McDonald over there, Councilmember Shepherd, and the folks in McCloskey Schools that all came out, and Scott Cervello, who managed the team, that came out to, and Nick was there too, sorry. That actually played. A bunch of folks came out to watch. We really did beat the snot out of those guys until they changed the rules at the end. So that's the community softball game against the coaches. It was a great day. I had a good time, and I want to thank everyone for supporting that, and being out there with us. So
It was a great day, and thanks for not mentioning my superior kickoff pitch.
well, first of all, kickoff pitch. He did a good job.
I'm really sporty, right?
You got it right over the plate. It was a good pitch.
He
Thank
had
you.
to stretch, but he was prepared.
It was an all-around great event. I
That was
was
really
worried about it at
something.
first because of the weather and the turnout, but it worked out really well.
No, there were kids and families and dogs
Well,
and
everywhere.
music and walk-on songs. It was really great. I can't wait for the next year to do it again. My son
Hey,
and I were
August, one
talking about it.
exception.
But oh yeah, the broken leg up there on the Zoom. I know he complained about the umpiring and he slightly fractured his leg. So we had to clear the safety board, but we'll be back.
It took one for the team. I expect more participation from council next year.
And he's looking at you guys.
Yeah, have fun with that. We'll move on to the city attorney's report.
Good evening, Kara Crofton-Volosick. I'm here on behalf of Rennis. His daughter was sick tonight, I think, is why he was not present. But no new news to report from the city attorney.
Okay, thank you. Get well, little Rennis girl.
Little shy kid.
And then next, our city manager's report. Mr. Raker?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In regards to the budget, first and foremost, thank you to all the department heads and supporting staff that worked diligently to improve upon last year's experience. I'm confident that continuous improvement will be our trend. An extra special thank you to Kelly Rao, our finance director, who has dealt with a lot from the moment she arrived here 2 years ago. She stayed the course and has helped improve the financial posture of the city and provided clarity to complex and often unpopular financial circumstances. To the mayor and council, thank you for a much more professional and productive budget season than in prior years. This administration could come up with the best recommendations, but they won't happen without you. Thank you for supporting the growth of the staff and working to restore mutual trust, respect, and faith in governance. We will not have a meeting again before Memorial Day, which is Monday, May 29th, so I'll provide this public service announcement. The public is invited on that day to attend the Clausen Tradition Memorial Day observation at 10 a.m. at the flagpole on the library campus in front of the gazebo. This tradition truly puts the meaning of Memorial Day into perspective. And Madam Mayor, if I may, I did receive a laudatory email on behalf of the DPW from members of the Rotary Club. It's good afternoon, Trevor. The Clausen Rotary Club recently cleaned up Rotary Park at Elmwood and North Main Street. We put in new flowers and mulch and dedicated the peace pole. During our afternoon of working, several of our members expressed how much they appreciate the DPW for its exemplary care for the grounds and facilities at the park. Please extend our thanks to your department staff for all their great work. We have enjoyed decades of amazing cooperation with the city, and the DPW team has been at the forefront of our relationship. You're the best. Warm regards. Jeff Geralds. In the picture was Jeff and Cheryl Geralds, along with Carol and Kevin Pelkey, Jim Cash, and Perry Peterson. And the credit for the picture goes to David Brady. So pending your questions, ma'am, that's my brief.
No, I actually saw that email and talked to Nick about that earlier, and he has a photo. He brought the photos ready to show too, because that was really great. He's trying.
I got to get added to the Zoom call. I was delayed, so Ken, if you could please add me, that would be great.
Next year, we should have DPW awards too, to go along with DPW week. Isn't that a great picture? And then I can't read the poll from here. What does the poll say? It says,
May peace be in our schools.
Peace be in our schools. I just thought that was so poignant and great. And that's what this community is full of volunteers, and it's nice to see smiling volunteers who also praise our hardworking professionals. So thank you for your report. Does anyone have any questions for our city manager? No, good answer. Then we'll move on to city council comments. Councilmember Sampson.
I have none.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
I have none.
Okay. Miss Councilmember Tinlin. He's smiling because he knows he has some.
Well, I'll keep them minimized. How about
You don't
that?
have to. It's okay.
I just want to thank all the citizens that provided input in the last month or so for the budget, and this is also business owners. I appreciate it. I think engagement will help us improve the process as leaders, so I do appreciate that. And just on the things that we're still working on, I know the ad hoc committee for the appointment processes, we're tweaking the processes around that. The upcoming performance review has been completed, but it needs some vetting at another meeting in June. And that's it, but thank you very much.
Great. I would like to say, would you like to say anything, Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes, I appreciate that, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I want to echo August's comments regarding the softball event. It was a really great community building endeavor. I really appreciate what CYBSL has done to pull us together in that event. It was unfortunately we came out on the losing end, but we're all winners in that regard.
They kept adding innings. It's not fair.
You guys played really well, and it didn't matter. It's just, you did it for fun. Come on, get over it.
I'll have to, and I appreciate the volunteer umpires. They were not thanked enough for their time and how they called the game. And I again appreciate that we can do this in the future, and that it become an even bigger tradition.
And the DJ
the
and
other
the
thing-
announcer, right?
What was that?
And the DJ and the announcer. It was a full
Absolutely, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was for not having done it in quite some time. I think they pulled off a wonderful family-oriented activity, and I really, obviously, it's close to my heart, and I really appreciated that. And we're hoping, look forward to a successful CYBSL season, and hopefully we can get some trophies and hardwares as we did last year. The other thing I wanted to comment on was, again, echoing Councilmember Tinlin's comments regarding the budget process. This is, this exceeded my expectations with the input and the amount of effort that was put into it. This is far and away, I think, one of the most professional things I've seen in quite some time. And I really appreciate everyone's input as well from the community and from council. And I look forward to doing this again next year, similar process. So thank you.
Thank you. I would like to say that, Kelly, I received so many comments on the readability of the report, of the financial report, the budget. So to all of you, I know it was a group effort, but it was very nicely, it was easy to read and it was nicely presented. So thanks, your efforts did not go unnoticed on that. Sometimes we think we're the only ones who care about where things line up, right? So last week I had the pleasure of attending Clausen Youth Assistance Awards, and I just want to give a shout out to the young people who received recognition. Each of these people were nominated by someone in the community. They're all part of our public schools. Matthew McLean, Kenzie McMillan, Gabe Nona, Kenise Williams, Michaela Drake, Alessandra Gomez, and Kyle Gogian are 7 young children in our community we can be proud of, and their families were there to support them. Again, always great to see families supporting each other, and something to celebrate in Clausen. So that was one event. And then this is the weekend we have all been waiting for. This is the weekend. We almost forgot one event. I'm going to let you have that. There is the Blair Bazaar is on Sunday. The Clausen Farmers Market also starts on Sunday. And the outdoor fair is also will be on Saturday. So Saturday, head downtown, buy some crafts, get some food, hang out, and then on Sunday, come back, go to the library for a little while, go over to the park for a little while. You can buy your stuff from the farmers, and then there'll be music at the park, and there will also be a farmer selling farmer goods. And then there's also on Saturday a police department open house, which I could let you guys give the details on.
Yeah, so on Saturday, the police department is having a public safety workshop from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at City Hall. There will be presentations regarding fraud prevention, bike safety, personal home and gun safety, what to do when stopped by police officers, as well as code enforcement. Again, that is at City Hall from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay, I'm sure we're going to forget something, but I think this was a really productive meeting. It was great. We had a lot to celebrate. Everyone played nice. I'm so happy. And I'm going to call for this meeting to be adjourned. Someone would like to do that?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tinlin?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Milan?
Yes.
Sampson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night, and see you downtown over the weekend, and in the park, and at the library.